But the us here
I'm
and
following us, Chaz.
yeah, along with another group of friends, we all got to go to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights.
Got
And
my souvenir cup and everything.
I forgot to get my cup.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have done that. But I don't know. I was kind of struggling with a way for us to cover this. But I don't know. We figured why not just do another tier list of kind of some of the haunted houses we get to go into. Now, we will explain why we weren't able to go into all of them. But basically, yeah, we only got to go into maybe 5. So I at least put them there so you guys could see what they were. Now, do you guys want to explain to the people here why we're only able to go into a handful of them?
3 hours waiting on one line. Come on. Like, you cannot do how many?
What is it? There's 10.
9?
10.
Well, to be fair, at least my goal, honestly, throughout the night was not to hit every house, and there was definitely a couple of points where we kind of stopped focusing on houses completely. So I mean, we got there pretty early. We did the was it scare early, scream early admission, whatever it is. So we got into the park for like 3 to 5, so we could actually get a head start on one of the houses. The way it works is if you're in the park by 5 and you have the ticket, then you basically can be in the first group to hit on one of the houses. So we did Last of Us before the park even opened, and then we rushed over to it was Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we were in line as Stranger Things about the time the park opened, and that was the longest wait. I think that was like 2 hours. It was a little shy of 2 hours.
It was at least an hour
Yeah,
30.
it said 140. It was pretty ridiculous.
It was, but then we kind of just like fell off. I mean, for me, those are the houses I actually cared about. The other ones, I was a little like, if we get them, we get them. So I know we wasted a lot of time just kind of walking around, getting food, got some drinks. I know we saw a show at a certain point. Just as a side note, I was extremely disappointed in all the food and even the drinks. At,
that was the main thing I took away. Was I thought the food was terrible. I don't think I liked anything.
I watched like food reviews going into. I get really excited about theme park food. It's one of my like guilty pleasures. Like I know it's never worth it. It's always too expensive, but there's something about that theme park food that just usually hits pretty good. And I remember going in here. I really wanted that cordyceps corn dog. So it was like the picture looked great. It was like this big fluffy like had. I don't even know what it was, like breadcrumb mushroom stuff on top, and it looked like this big Korean corn dog. That was so disappointing. It was the blandest thing. The hot dog was like this tiny and this giant breaded nonsense. And then I know the drinks were great.
I had beer after a while, so it's like, you know what? I enjoyed the beer a lot more than tasting those ridiculous fruit drinks that you guys were drinking.
That voodoo beer I had was awful. Whatever that voodoo beer was.
Oh, Voodoo Monk?
Was terrible.
The October.
I'll tell you what I want to do, because as I said, I watched a whole bunch of like food reviews going into it, and everybody was praising all the food items.
We should have reviewed
I want to
the
go
food.
and have like I was gonna say, I want to go and have like a real like one-on-one critical. This is what the food's really like. That way people don't waste their money on it, because I was very disappointed. And there were a few other things we had too. Like I had some of the desserts that weren't great. There was
the
some
Stranger
other
Things
main item.
The peanut
I
butter
never
thing.
found a damn burger. Like we only saw it, and then it's like that was it. We never found it on the menu anywhere.
The peanut butter
jalapeno burger thing.
I wanted that so badly. I was hungry. I was waiting all night to find
I was talking about
thing.
the moose cup thing we got. That was disappointing.
Yeah, Yuri's favorite. Yeah, everything to me was a little disappointing. So next year we'll do a food review. Maybe that'll be the next tier list. We'll make sure we eat everything. But
sounds like a good idea.
Just I don't know. I was looking at my screen.
Yeah.
I feel like it looked stretched.
Yeah, the food was pretty disappointing. It looked disappointing. It looked huge on your end though, like giggity. Like the corn dog. I was like, dang, that thing's massive.
The corn dog was good on the first bite or two, but then when I started to set in that this is all of it, I was like, oh.
I've had corn
bread didn't have any flavor, and like it had this sauce on it. So I thought that's where the flavor would come from. I don't think I ever even tasted the sauce. It was
just like honey mustard.
It didn't even taste like that. And then like the first bite was this big glob of cheese, and then by the time we got to the hot dog, I think you were so full of bread. Like, we'll get off the food review. That'll be next year. But
no, not just yet. When it comes,
it's your turn to rant. Okay.
No,
Chaz is very opinionated.
I just want to say I am a fan of corn dogs. Corn dogs have a very specific like breading flavor. I don't know what it is. It's like corn. Is it kind of like cornbread? Looks like a corn.
Yeah, it's cornmeal.
Yeah,
that's hence the name.
And that was not that Korean hot dog, that breading was nothing like that at all.
K-dogs, like...
yeah, we should have known it was a Korean dog, so it was going to be different, but still.
I saw it, but that's not really a Korean dog. Like, I live near a place that sells so many Korean K-dogs that have, like, you know, hot dogs with cheese, and they're freaking tasty. And I don't even know what they put on the one that you guys were eating, but they actually put sugar on theirs. They dip it in sugar, and it's like really weird because you could put ketchup and whatever the hell you want on it. So that's why I'm like, it looked okay, but from what you guys were telling me, it sounded horrible.
It was all for show, yeah.
And they were like $10 too, I think, like 10.
Oh yeah, fruit's not cheap there.
Some stupid price. Oh well.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're here to talk about houses.
Yeah.
The heck?
So we actually did. Well, Chaz didn't. I know. You did the Chucky house too, didn't you, Metal?
Chucky was the only one you guys.
I was right with you guys.
I didn't get to
go.
Yeah,
so we got on 6, and Chaz, we got left in our dust accidentally.
I got into line, and then I looked all the way towards the front of the line because you was able to get up there without skipping people, and I'm just like, Mark's like. Or my uncle was just like, skip the line. I'm like, what do you mean just skip the line? I'm gonna get jumped by like 100 people here. Like, I'm like, I don't know. But
it makes it sound like it's so easy. No, why don't you just go ahead and do it?
Yeah. If I'm waiting in line for 20-30 minutes and I see someone trying to go ahead of me, I'm not gonna be happy. Like, I don't know.
That's fair.
But yeah, so
you were respectful.
So let's see. We essentially got to go into 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, so basically 6. So we get to go into 6 out of these 10. So we'll let you guys know which ones we got to go into. But I don't know which one you guys want to start with. We can talk about.
Let's start with the first one on your list. So what is that? Stranger Things?
Yeah. So Stranger Things. If you don't know, Stranger Things was, I would say it's the main attraction, basically, of the entire thing.
Between that and Last of Us, like, yeah, I think it depends on who you are, but yeah, those are the 2 big ones.
No. So what did you guys think?
Man, my tier list is so low. It's
curious,
hard to scare me.
Yeah,
it's hard to scare me. I guess I didn't see the show. I'm sorry. I gotta watch it still. It was cool. I think it's a C for me, if anything.
It'd be B for me. Like, if you have watched the show, I think there's some enjoyment there. If you haven't watched the show, I don't think it's going to do much for you. I think I'm a little more favorable than I probably would have been, just because the house we saw right before this, I was very disappointed in, so it made this one actually feel a little bit better. But it was okay. Like, if you watch the show, it has a lot of moments from it. I mean, it's not really scary, but I'm kind of like with you, Metal. Like, most of these rarely are going to get a scare out of me. I'm going through for like the detail and the little tiny narrative they have in there. That's stuff I'm looking for. In my mind, I was also comparing. I don't think I told you guys, when I was in Seattle, I did they had the Stranger Things experience, which is like this big walkthrough kind of interactive Stranger Things kind of deal. It's kind of like this, but scaled up a little bit. And that was done a lot better than this. But again, it's a different type of experience. I would say B.
I say B.
If you like the show, I think you'll like this, but it's not the scariest thing. And if you don't like the show, you're not going to get a lot out of it.
It's also like, it's ridiculously hard too to also get what you want out of something that you waited almost 2 hours for. I think that wait, honestly, like, it kind of killed a lot of the mood, because then by the time you get to the end of the line, you're not thinking about the ride. You're thinking about, oh, thank goodness I'm at the end of this line
anymore. Yeah.
Well,
so you get fatigued going into it.
Yeah, I hate the fact that, like, every time we go through these houses, we're pretty much just getting pushed through these things. Like, there's no way. There's no way you can enjoy it. Yeah, dude, it's you go so quick, you're done in 30 seconds. Like, it's like, oh man, I want to like.
That's something that I think you don't get when you watch like the Yeah, you can get that when you watch like the YouTube previews and reviewers, because you get these people who have like gone through preview events, so they have extra passes, or they they go under like, you know, perfect conditions, so they get to really take time and you get to see everything, look at the detail. You get more enjoyment out of that, of course. But when you're there in real life and you're shoved through after 2 hours of waiting and you have 30 seconds to get enjoyment out of it, it's hard, I think, to really soak in and appreciate all the work that goes into these houses. You miss a lot of stuff. I said you got people shoving you in the back, so
well, like
hard.
I sent a video to Phoenix of people, somebody recorded, you know, their experience going through like a lot of the houses. Now granted, these were in Hollywood, California, and like if they're the same thing, man, there's a lot of stuff that they got, I felt like, that I didn't even see in some of these houses. Like there were actually, like in The Last of Us, the one that they got, like there were actually scenes, or you actually could see like oh god, what's the main character's name? Not Ellie, what's the other
Joel?
guy? Joel. You could actually see Joel like doing things. Like there was they walk past Joel like trying to rev up a generator while there's like monsters coming at him, and I'm like I didn't see that unless I was moving too fast in there.
I saw Joel. I don't remember what he was doing.
I saw a silhouette, I remember. It was a silhouette of both of them, and it was like, that was kind of neat, but that was like the most I got out of it.
Yeah. Well, are we talking about Last of Us now?
Oh, no.
On to that one?
We'll just move to Blood Moon. Blood Moon we did get to go into. Do you remember this one?
Okay. This was the last one we did. And honestly, I will say, I think we need to kind of rethink how we hit houses, because we, in the last hour of the event, hit most of our houses. We hit like 4 houses in the last hour.
Yeah,
everybody was bailing. You could just like go on, walk through. We hit Chucky, Blood Moon, Exorcist. I thought maybe another one. So honestly, we got to rethink how we play things out next year. But I kind of liked Blood Moon. I'll tell you, I found, because this was true, I think, for some past years of Halloween Horror Nights too, the ones that I know the most about and have the higher expectations for, like Last of Us and Stranger Things, it's harder for me to, I think, be surprised by and like get kind of the spooky stuff out of, because you kind of know what's going to happen to a certain extent. I knew nothing about Blood Moon. I don't know the background of it. I don't know if it's a movie, a TV show, whatever. So just the fact that I don't know what I'm about to get into makes it a little more interesting, a little more creepy.
Like, I'll look it up. I feel like Blood Moon was a movie.
I liked this one. I liked it better than Stranger Things, and I think a part of that is, once again, I just didn't have the same expectations for it, so it surprised me a little more. I might say A, like comparatively to everything that we went through. I'd probably give it an A. It had some fun moments in it. I don't know if you guys recall, at the very end, you're walking through and they have like just all the people standing there in the hooded cloaks, and it's clearly one of those things where some of them are dummies and some of them are real, so you get that one or two that kind of jump out and scare you. And it was that whole cult thing, so cults, you know, just creepy in general, so they had some very weird, gory sacrifice stuff that was weird.
It was not one of my favorites. There's another one we'll touch on that I wasn't a huge fan of. But,
well, I would give this one an A, but you guys can drop it where you need to.
An A?
I liked it. Well, here's the thing. If I'm basing off Stranger Things, I liked this better than Stranger Things.
I feel like this one for me is either on par or C, for me personally. I could see B, maybe. What do you think, Gamer?
I'm trying to remember all of it. I do remember the.
I remember the things because there was a part where you went to a church, and I remember. Yeah,
I do remember that. That was neat. I mean,
I'm sitting in the pews, jumping out at you.
That's right. They had a lot more detail in that one compared to some of the other ones. Plus, we got to enjoy it a little bit more because we didn't get pushed across as fast.
I would say B.
We didn't wait in line for 2 hours.
Yeah, we didn't wait in for such a long time just for that.
So we got an A, a B.
Oh man, it's a tough one. I mean, that one was pretty good, I guess, from the little that I do remember. You know what? I'm gonna go with an A on that one because the Stranger Things, even if I didn't watch the show, wasn't.
I'll be honest, I was assuming we weren't going to have any A's or S's. So
I don't think we're going to have an S.
I disagree. At least for me. But you guys, let's keep on keeping on. Okay. Here's when I do these rankings too, I'm basing them off of, you know, relative to the ones we have. I'm not, like if I put an S up here, I'm not saying it's the best house ever.
Because I'm thinking,
but comparatively to the houses we have.
Okay. Yeah. I see. Because I was comparing them to previous houses I've been in from like a decade ago.
No, that's not really fair though,
Okay.
because we're really comparing these to each other, not freaking 2013.
I'll rank it however you want. If you want to go with kind of just on a pure
I like what you're thinking. So to me, I would still say A or B. I would probably went with a B, but 2 A's and a B, so we got an A there. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
So next one, The Exorcist. This one's based on that new movie that I think came out a couple days ago. What did you guys think of this one?
When it scares a worker from like running out saying, "I don't want to be in this one," like that's pretty fun.
Was that a worker?
She had a vest and everything.
I don't know if that was a worker. I think that was just someone who went in because this was the one we walked into, and like before we barely even got in, I'm pretty sure it was as a guest. She ran out. She was like, "Nope, not doing it."
I saw that.
All I remember was the she was wearing like what do you call it, like the green and yellow like whatever like vest, and I'm just like, I don't remember we're seeing anybody wearing those except for the workers. Well,
maybe. I mean, I remember this was one of the ones. Was this the one my wife fell in because she got scared so bad she fell to the ground? Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't think so. I think that was.
She was great. She's great. She's a trooper.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't remember actually.
She made it so much more fun.
Oh no, that was Dark Moon. That was Dark Moon.
Was it?
Yeah.
Is this the one that she fell back on and
this is the one I caught her on. Like she started to fall backwards and I hooked her by the arms real quick.
Yes. This was great.
So since we are good.
My wife loves horror, haunted houses, but she just is super jump scared, like super jittery when it comes to stuff. So it makes it so much fun to like walk behind her and push her out front the whole time.
It's so good. I'm trying to remember the detail on this one, to be honest.
Actually, this is the one I remember the most. So since we're changing how we're grading these, I would say this one for me is an S or an A. I would say this is probably my favorite one we went into.
Really?
I really liked. I just thought it was kind of fun. You get to see like. You saw multiple little kids running around dressed as these exorcists, and this one was fun because like it initially starts off with you like entering that town that kind of look run down, and as you're going through, you start entering the house, and you start seeing, you're actually seeing the process that they kind of had of trying to deal with the exorcist, and I liked this one. I would say S or A. I'm not sure.
I go B or A. I lean a little more B, but I could see A in there. For me, it's not an S. But once again, I look at horror things very different than you guys do. So
I'll go A. I'll say A. It's my
metal.
If it's my favorite, though, should I say S?
If it's your favorite, you can say S. But no, you're closer to S. I'm closer to B. So now it's wherever metal wants to land.
Yeah. I'm remembering the little kids and all that stuff. That was actually pretty cool. A lot. I mean, I was drinking in between, so I had different alcohol content than you guys. I'm gonna sit it at an A because
right in the
Stranger
middle.
Things was just Stranger Things are just not. It wasn't good for me.
No. So, all right. So we're gonna set it an A. I feel like I'm happy with that. I could roll with that.
I'll be the middle man.
So. I'm going to just throw it out there. I think, to me, this was the most disappointing one out of the entire group. This is the one I may have been the most excited for, too. But I wasn't that thrilled with this one. Was it because it was the first one? Maybe we weren't as drunk as the later ones? But not that I was ever drunk. I feel like that's something I should throw in. Part of the reason I was disappointed is that we were waiting in line so often that my buzz would just keep going away, and I'm just like...
First off, since this was the first one, we're in the middle of the sun.
Yeah.
Waiting, and it was blaring hot outside, and even our drinks were crying. It was that bad. And plus, on top of that, we went through this thing, and I think it was just too coming from outside being bright, going inside being really dark. We could barely see anything.
This was too dark, and I don't think it's just that we came in from the brightness. Like the way this was lit, you couldn't see any detail anywhere.
From what I saw,
this also had
those details. Those cordyceps details were awesome. Like I think
they were, but the environments you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell what was going on. I think here's my bigger issue with this. Every other house had a bit of a narrative
I was
kind
just
of
gonna
going through. It was
say,
like,
I was
oh,
waiting
we're
for you to
here,
bring
then
that
we're
up.
there. There was movement to it. This is just like clicker.
Yeah.
Here's another clicker. And you couldn't tell where you were in the game necessarily. You couldn't tell if they were trying to follow the game. I guess there were moments I could kind of tell. Like, I know you mentioned, like, they had the truck crash at the beginning.
There was, like, 2 set events, and that was about it I saw.
But, like, I guess what threw me off is, like, that was a scene that didn't even have many clickers. That was supposed to be a big shootout with, you know, whatever the town folks were. I don't remember. The guys who jumped them, essentially. There was none of that. It was just clickers. I saw Ellie once, and I saw Joel once. Not together, just kind of in 2 separate places. And then it was clickers popping out of random crevices in the wall, and everything was just dark. It wasn't scary either. I mean, they tried to jump scare you a lot, but that was it. I don't know. There wasn't enough story to it, which I know is kind of an odd thing to ask for in a haunted house sometimes, but that's what I like. I like to be some weird, creepy narrative kind of going through, and I don't know, this has had one note, and it was just clicker the whole time. If you love clickers, if that's the whole reason you like The Last of Us. I mean, they were very detailed costumes, but this was my most disappointing. I would give it a D.
I would give it a D as well. There was a few moments where I could actually see the detail on them. I didn't think it was very good, especially at the end. There was a last clicker as we got near the exit door, and he got into the light, and it was, I didn't think it was very good. But.
Oh yeah. I didn't see that part, so
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think
D's fine.
It's disappointing. That was the one I was probably looking forward to the most too.
It really,
yeah.
So it
just didn't help.
Yeah. So the one I didn't get to go into, Chucky. What did you? I don't have an opinion on this one.
That was hilarious.
This one, I loved it. This is S for me.
So can I just say I did watch the video of the lady going into the Hollywood one. Does it start initially with you walking into like boxes stacked up of Chucky, or is that different?
I can't remember exactly. I mean, I remember walking
the
in.
house.
Here's what I really liked about this one. It might have just been the way it was structured. All the other houses, you're just waiting outside in the back lot pretty much. So you're in the heat. There's nothing kind of prepping you for the house. This one took place inside the Fast and the Furious garage. So one great thing about it is you're inside in the AC. So that made me just a lot happier to be there.
That was nice.
And they had this little preview video about the Chucky house, like kind of prepping it. Which it added a little bit of story going into it. Like there was this guy in a big Chucky costume, and then the real Chucky threw a knife in his face.
Yeah.
And then what happened is we go into the house, one of the first things you see is the big dude in the Chucky outfit with a knife popping out of his head. Yeah. So he had some continuity. So that was the first thing I remember. But this one was cool because you went through, and Chucky's really cheesy anyway. Like Chucky works when you don't take it seriously, like at all. So you're going through, they're showing, I guess, these little scenes from the new show or new movie that's coming out. I think it's a show. And at first I was disappointed because you only go like maybe, 20 seconds, Metal, and then like you're outside again, you think the house is over, and you're like, oh,
and
this
it's
was
not.
terrible. And then it like pulls this like 180 on you when you realize even though you're outside exiting, you're still part of the house, and then it pulls you back in. And from then it was just crazy, just like nonsense the whole time. These horrible over-the-top deaths that were occurring. Guys like half their bodies are exploding, and just like very over the top. It was the most fun I had. It was very easy to track what was going on. It had some jump scary moments. There was one scene or one section I was walking through. I turned the corner. I think I was in the front of the line, and they had this hallway with, and this might be what you saw in the video, Chaz, a bunch of Chucky boxes lined up on either side.
I saw that.
And you knew one of them was going to hop out at you. Like, they had a lot of fun little moments like that. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would. So I'd give it an S. Comparatively to everything we did here, it was my favorite. I'm really sad you didn't get to see it, Chaz.
Yeah, explaining it now that I do remember all that stuff, and I do remember it. Yeah, it was good. You know what? I think it was fun, and I think those are one of the final houses that we hit too, if I'm not mistaken. It was like the second
right after we got out of the show.
Yeah, and it was good. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah. Okay, so we didn't get to go into Unmasked, which apparently that's like a horror-themed Universal Monsters thing, mashup of all
the like Invisible Man, stuff like that. I was never overly interested in doing that one. I'm not huge on Universal Monsters. I've heard it was okay, but no.
The one I wanted to, we didn't get to, was the Yeti one. I kind of was curious.
I wanted to do the Yeti one too. Yeah.
We were near it too, but then we saw the line and we're like, no.
I think we chose to do Exorcist instead of Yeti.
Yeah, because it was right next to each other.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed Exorcist, so at least for me, it's like.
Yeah.
There was a Dueling Dragons one. I don't know anything about the Oddfellows, Twisted Origins.
So the Oddfellow, like every year Universal has their own character for Halloween Horror Nights. This was their canonical character, Dr. Oddfellow. So I've heard the house is okay, but it doesn't have any kind of like background to kind of pull you in. So I don't know.
So the last, or one of the ones we did, which this was the Darkest Deal. This was the was it like very southern kind of like.
Oh, this is the
down
one
by
that
the bayou, sell your soul to the devil kind of stuff.
Yeah,
this is that Robert Johnson type of deal.
It's like a music guy selling his soul.
Music.
Yeah, basically. This one,
it was a lot of blues.
Yeah, this one I wasn't big on either. So for me, I would say C.
I'd give it a B.
I give it a B because I remember the detail being really pretty cool, actually. Like, especially when you walk in the beginning and you see like the signature being sold.
It was like vampire. It was like all vampires or something.
I don't know if they were vampires. I think it was a little hard for me to know what was going on. Like, once again, I had no context to this one, but that kind of helped a little bit because I was a little more surprised. But I didn't know exactly what the main story was besides this guy sold his soul. But I don't know. I thought the way it moved through the southern kind of bluegrass creepiness, I think, kind of sold through. So I liked it.
It was neat for what it was.
No.
Yeah.
No, all right. That is our what is it? That is our 6 that we get to go into out of the 10. Once again, it sucks because we even got that early pass, and I assumed.
And we barely got into anything. We only got into the first one, and that was it.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, we probably did save
enough.
ourselves 2 hours of waiting because both the Stranger Things house and Last of Us, almost the entire night had 2-hour wait. So yeah, we still had to wait for Stranger Things. But we didn't have to wait for Last of Us. I'll tell you, if I would have had to wait 2 hours for Last of Us and then went through that house, I would have been far more upset. The fact that we just got to rush through that one essentially as soon as the park kind of pseudo-opened, I think helped take the sting out of it a little bit. Because we really only waited significantly for Stranger Things. All the other 5 houses, it was maybe a 30-minute wait for most of them. Even Last of Us wasn't that long of a wait. It was hot, but it wasn't that long of a wait from when we got in there.
No, it was just long because we got there really early.
Yeah,
we waited in the pre-queue, but still, once the thing actually started.
I don't know if we can do it next year, but I'm gonna definitely push for Fast Pass. If we, I don't think I would want to give Universal that much money out of just
so.
I don't know.
Like, is it even worth it?
I mean, you're right. It's expensive.
It's $160.
Just out of like.
So here's something to look at.
I don't want to give them $300, but if it makes it a.
Well, if you're gonna go that route, like for one, if you get Fast Pass, you're still waiting in a line, so you're not just bypassing all the lines. There's a queue for Fast Pass too, which that gets a little lengthy. At that point, if you're spending that's like $250 to $300, I think for $350, you get a specialized tour that goes through all 10 houses. They show you the behind the scenes, like you get to walk through the house.
I saw people doing a tour. That's what that was. Huh.
I think so. So honestly, if you're really thinking of doing that, it may be better we talk about just investing a little more than even that, and then guaranteeing you do every house and you get the tour and everything. That's the most expensive option, but maybe. I don't know. I'm always in between on it. Like, I enjoy the houses at Halloween Horror Nights, but that's not always the main draw. Like, I just kind of want to go and hang out. So the fact that I didn't get to see those other 4 houses, I don't know if I would have wanted to pay an extra $150 to guarantee I saw them or not, because they're all a crapshoot, right? The best houses could end up being the worst houses. Like Last of Us, which was the biggest draw, I thought was the worst house. And then the houses that I was least interested in, like going into this, I thought Chucky would have been like bottom of the barrel, because Chucky is a very kind of drowned out IP at this point, and I loved it more than everything else. So I don't know. Houses can be fun, but it's more fun just to go and kind of hang out there. I
think the Green Gots ride was the best thing. I think.
Oh yeah, that ride was freaking awesome.
Something else disappointing about this one, which usually kind of makes up for the houses if you can't make them, the scare zones. I thought they were terrible this year.
They were awful. That was what, 1960s like hippies or something?
Yeah, they had the weird like 70s music thing. that didn't work for me. Then they had like the weird sideshow circus stuff.
They had people people on stilts or something.
Nonsense.
I think we missed one of the zones because we kind of skipped over the front part of the park to kind of get to where our shortcut was for Last of Us. But yeah, none of the scare zones were that fun. I mean, I remember a few years ago where they had the guy with the clown chainsaw thing running around, scared my wife. Cool. That was great. So yeah. I don't know, a little disappointed there too.
The one time we went, they had the purge. That was freaking fantastic. Like then they would have like, you know, the truck that's smashed or whatever, and then everything would come out of the smashed truck. It's like, oh, cool. They're just coming out, just chasing after everybody. It's like, oh, yes, perfect. You know, but I don't know.
I was gonna say, I guess that's a good way to kind of even wrap this out. Like, I know we ranked this relative to the houses we see here, but as Chaz, you were saying earlier, if we're ranking this to all the Halloween Horror Nights you've ever been to, none of this ranks all that high. Like, I would say most of this would be C and below. I might still put Chucky at a B because I did enjoy it comparatively to every house I've ever been on, but this to me was not a flagship Halloween Horror Nights year. The food also disappointed me, so maybe it's just, I don't know. This is not one of the best years to go.
I didn't even think the butterbeer was all that. I was like, oh.
Oh, you be quiet. Butterbeer is always good.
Actually, that frozen butterbeer was fantastic.
They had frozen butterbeer?
They had frozen butterbeer.
They told me they had cold or hot.
So good.
I got cold.
No, they said cold or iced.
Oh, the iced one is where it's at. It was like having like an ice cream shake. It was.
I should have done
good.
that. Dang.
And you get that really cool. You get the cool little goblet. And it's bigger this time because I remember the other one I have is smaller.
Giggity.
I want to make my own. I want to make my own butterbeer.
I'm sure it's not hard.
Yeah, but it's full of sugar.
Alrighty, so yeah, so that was basically our thoughts on Halloween Horror Nights. Kind of interesting, us getting to review an event. That's definitely something I don't think we've tackled.
Now we have to review the Super Saiyan.
Oh, that was the best part of the entire 2 days. Super Saiyan. I guess if you guys haven't heard, should we explain Super Saiyan?
Sure.
Oh, I got scared. I forgot I had a floating bald head above me.
Bald head scared yourself?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, if you guys don't know, and you know, over by Universal in Orlando, there not by it, but in the area, there is a little restaurant, right, called Super Saiyan's, Dragon Ball Z themed, and
it's a ramen shop.
It's a ramen shop, and I think that was amazing. I thought the food was good. Like incredible.
Oh, it was good.
Wasn't like
it's a good ramen shop.
Wasn't
they also one in
expensive.
Jacksonville if you're ever up that way.
Is that one any different?
Oh, my ramen bowl was expensive. I think the one in Jacksonville is a little nicer. I don't remember if the food was really better. I mean, I feel like it's the same selection. The restaurant is a lot nicer in Jacksonville. It's a bigger location. It's a newer one. I think it's themed a little more general anime than just Dragon Ball, whereas this one is just straight up Dragon Ball the whole time. But I don't know. They're both good. I mean, it's a good ramen shop. I mean, there's so many ramen shops across the world, so to say how this one ranks, but comparatively, it's a good one.
I would recommend getting there early because we got there right when they opened, and it was still like right after it opened. I
told you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
It fills up quick.
It's hilarious to me because I've had really freaking good ramen, and they had good ramen. I'm not saying it wasn't bad. It was good, and I got the stir fried ramen. I like it. It was good. It was tasty.
I got the
and that sauce is where it's at though. Like
the super sauce.
Yeah, man, that's where it's at. And so if you go there, get the super sauce.
Yeah. You start getting to the end, you start tilting the bowl. So good. All right, so I don't know. So Phoenix, you're not able to join us for what would next podcast? That would be probably like towards the end of the month.
We kind of pushed this one a little bit. So typically, I know we've been trying to be on first Tuesday of the month, but we pushed this one so we could do Halloween Horror Nights. So if you want to stick with that original schedule, then we're looking at the 7th.
What would be the 7th?
Because I think I would be on vacation at that time. So yeah, probably sometime after that. Yeah. Gamer, did you want to try?
Good about schedules.
I'll get with Saran. I don't know if he'll want to do one more before I go or not. But yeah, definitely at least with everyone, we'll plan for that first week or two of November.
Okay. Just let me know if you want to, and it should be fine.
Sounds
Since I'm
good.
doing the other stream is probably going to be only on Mondays. At least I'm going to try to do that.
So I know Gamer has a new project that he has going on. Did you want to plug anything here?
I mean, I plugged you in mine. Giggity.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Actually, I plugged all of my projects in the other one. So I started a new YouTube stream and Twitch stream for a band that I'm looking to start, which I have music already set up. It's a music project based off of a live creation for new music that I'm making. So I'm pretty much just on the fly coming up with ideas. So the point behind it is to create new ideas, and if they go through, they're good. If they're not, then they're just not good. I'm just really just using this as a way of documenting and just keeping myself accountable, so I can be able to take myself and take this new and try to push it into Atlanta. So that's kind of where I'm kind of going with it.
When your chat gets growing, you got to have them vote on their favorite riffs. So like we'll play a section, and then you go.
Oh, that'd be awesome! I would love to do that, like little polls and stuff like that, like fun riffs, or like ideas or songs, or just little sections. That'd be great. So I did my first one yesterday. So the name of the band is Limb Breaker, like, and I'm taking a limb and breaking it. So so that's kind of the stretch that I'm going with. So if you enjoy looking at, want to watch me putz around on guitar and throw some ideas, or just kind of do whatever, or just shoot the crap, that's kind of like one of those channels where you can kind of say kind of what you want. So I'm kind of open on that.
Yeah.
So
if you don't know, Gamer's one of his previous projects, he basically has the titular EnteRChazmAN theme song basically kind of spread throughout my channel. So there you go. So
yeah,
go over there and see him create some stuffs.
Yep, I mentioned like my other bands, my other past projects, and my inspirations and all that fun stuff on the last it was yesterday, last night. So hopefully you enjoy it. Leave some comments and show some love.
Do that here first, though.
Yeah, do that here first. Or not.
No, do it here first. I demand. But okay. So as we move on into we're officially getting near Halloween time. So what else do you guys have going on? You guys playing any other games? Watching any movies, shows?
I think same as you. I'm waiting for Spider-Man. So
and Alan Wake.
I mean, next thing that kind of drops for me.
Those are the two for me.
I know you finish 16.
16. Mario. Mario comes out too, right? At the same time.
Oh man, RPG.
No, it's
oh no, I'm thinking of Wonder.
Wonder.
Oh, that too. Oh no, oh that's next month.
RPG is a little bit later, yeah.
RPG is like
I tell you, I'm
middle
starting
November, I think.
Yeah,
or early November.
I'm starting to think, because I know we're gonna start thinking about our end of the year, game of the year kind of showcase.
Oh man,
I've been trying to think about what my game of the year even is. I'm not sure, man. A lot of the games I thought might be high on my list have not been overly, not quite up to my expectations.
I'm in the same boat.
I know Starfield in particular, so I don't know. I'm really hoping Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man, honestly, has a very large opportunity to probably be the best game I play this year, because I very much doubt that it's going to not be a solid game. I loved the last ones, so
I think Spider-Man and Alan Wake. I'm hoping both of them are like. I'll play them at the same time. I'm hoping both of them are like really good, because I would say Final Fantasy 16 is my current, but even though I liked it, to me that could easily be overdone by something like that. To me is not a set in stone, which is crazy to say considering a Zelda game came out this year.
Yeah. See, that game was another one didn't quite do it for me. I think I'm a little disappointed. Like, I know I'm talking about Spider-Man being like potentially game of the year, but at the same token, I think it's just because I know exactly what to expect for that game. Like, which makes me a little sad, because typically my game of the year is something that I kind of want to surprise me a little bit. I don't think Spider-Man's going to do that, but I know it's going to be just really high quality. I'm going to have fun swinging through the city, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Insomniac is totally where I feel like Insomniac right now is about where Rocksteady was for a while there with Batman, where it's like oh, I know what I'm gonna get. I can't wait for the next one. Like even with like Arkham Knight, like that one, even though it was a bit of a, was it Arkham Knight? Yeah, it was
The third one,
Arkham Asylum,
fourth,
City, and then Knight.
but
Yeah, even with Arkham Knight, like even though like that one was a downgrade to the other two, it was still an incredibly fun game. So
it was just a little broken and had some weird mechanics in it, but
yeah. But yeah, so you guys, I don't know. That's another week of the EnteRChazmAN podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoy. We just had a chat drop. Ryan Paccarine in chat says, I see you guys went to Halloween Horror Nights. If you guys go next year, I recommend doing one of the two main houses right at the beginning, like you did with The Last of Us. Then head to the back of the park near Men in Black. So what does he mean, Men in Black? Is that just like the location of another house? He means just hit that house?
I think typically the point is like if you get there quick enough, then the back of the park doesn't fill up nearly as quickly because you gotta think people flood in and they're gonna hit those first big houses early on. So if you hit some big houses before the park technically opens, you can catch a few more towards the end. And I have found a lot of the houses that are by that side end up being some of my favorite ones for whatever reason. Like there was one we did a few years ago. Oh, man, maybe we were at this one. It was like one that had 3D glasses, and I was like the weird,
that one was awesome.
Insane Asylum one.
Yeah, that one had the little spinny thing and the little things that were kind of frilly.
And we went on that one like 3 times too. That was great.
It was that good. It was so good. That would actually be on my S. That was awesome. Like
that's one of my favorite ones.
Too good.
He says, then walk the park backwards so you can do like 7 houses that way before crowds.
We can make that attempt. We'll keep that in mind. I think
this year we just kind of lost focus after we did the first 2 houses. We kind of just like
we tried to knock out the 2 big. We tried to knock out the 2 big ones at first, and
remember that
we probably could have done all 10 if we would have really.
Should we have walked straight to Stranger Things first? Would that have
maybe?
Saved?
Maybe it's hard to say. The Last of Us also filled up right after that. Both of those are going to be wasted no matter what. I mean, I think arguably Stranger Things might have been the bigger draw. I was less interested in that one initially, so I mean, I was glad we attempted Last of Us. As I said, I felt better waiting for Stranger Things. At least that experience didn't completely disappoint me. If I would have waited 2 hours and went on Last of Us, I would have been sad. So I'm kind of glad we did the way we did.
And I think it was about 2 or more like hours waiting for that if we didn't hit it first. Like it was pretty terrible. Remember that this year we went to the show and it was cool, like
the show was fun.
The show was very fun, tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff.
I hate shows like that. I'm just all the days.
Yeah, it's like all like burlesque.
Yeah, I'm not into that stuff.
I'll tell you, it was not Bill and Ted's crazy Halloween adventure. Like I loved that one.
Fantastic. Or like if it would have been, it was Bill and Ted like Halloween Horror Night. I mean Halloween. What is it? The Rocky Horror Picture Show style, and it was so much fun. Like.
Yeah, I mean, this show was a little one note. I mean, it was impressive to watch, but it was very one note. But I do say this one had a lot of crowd like energy that I don't think the Bill and Ted one had. So it was fun. I mean, I'm glad we got a chance to sit down because I think at that point we were all kind of dying. So that was nice.
The only thing I had fun in that was I got to hear Drowning Pool really loud, and I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. In chat, Ryan also says, I'm able to do all 10 houses every year by like 1 a.m. Says, you have to do The Last of Us and Stranger Things either first or last.
Yeah. Man, that would have been last.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Cool.
So, yeah. I guess we kind of touched on what we got going on until the next episode. I don't know, down in the comments, guys, we'd love to hear, what are your thoughts? Did any of you guys get to go out to Halloween Horror Nights? Did you... I don't know. What do you think about any of the major events we talked about in Speedrun News? I'll need to pick a spooky game. Oh, that's right. I'll have Alan Wake 2 to talk about on whatever next episode.